All right, well, we got some more news, and I feel just so weird about this because, like, as a Knicks fan, we've always wanted the star. Well, we finally have that star in Brunson. Julius Randle made the All Star team, but obviously you have to step up in the playoffs when it matters most. RJ, we'll see if he ever becomes that. I think he's a very solid player right now, or a good player. But we have a star out there that's available to be traded for. Like, he's available. But it's not the star I want. I'm not trying to be picky, but I don't want this. If you're wondering, there's a report that came out by Adrian Wojnarowski. Breaking news: 76ers guard James Harden is picking up his $35.6 million option, and sides are beginning to work together in exploring trade scenarios. Sources tell ESPN it's expected that Harden has played his last game for Philadelphia. We know there was those reports he was interested in going to Houston, potentially, or signing with Houston. But now it's a trade scenario. It is a trade scenario. He's not opting out of that contract. He's not getting extended by Philly. He's not going to be signing with somewhere else. Probably in the future after the upcoming season, they'll probably work on an extension wherever he ends up going. But this is interesting. This is very interesting. And then Adrian Wojnarowski went on to retweet his own tweet saying the Clippers and Knicks are expected to be among the teams that will engage with the Sixers on a potential James Harden trade. All right, so not even like getting into the details of what we would potentially give up. I don't want this. I don't. James Harden's going on 34 years old. He's about to be 34 years old, and it has nothing to do with the pure natural talent of James Harden. He is one of the best facilitators in the game. He led the league in assist. He runs the pick and roll to perfection in the regular season. Just his playmaking when it comes to with the ball in his hands, get into that floater, step back, ridiculously good handle. Obviously doesn't provide a lot on the defense side of the basketball. So he's extremely talented. If you put on a Knicks jersey today or this upcoming season, he'd be one of the most talented players for the Knicks ever. And you can say that about him being on any other franchise. He's one of the most talented players in basketball history. But does it make sense? Hell no. If anything, the New York Knicks, if they do add a player in the starting lineup to upgrade the starting lineup, he has to be defensive minded. He has to be mentally tough. He has to be able to play off the ball but create a little bit. I'm not saying a specific player, but Harden's kind of the opposite of what we want right now. Because I trust Brunson with the ball in his hands. I trust him to hit big shots in big time moments. Yes, you could say he made the wrong read. Nothing against that at all. But we have seen Brunson just in a closeout game, like a 40-point game. We've seen that he gives it his all with the ball in his hands. While if James Harden had the ball handling duties, and I'm not a big fan of, oh, we're just taking turns, taking care of the basketball, and it's not really any real offense being run, and that's kind of how it would be if James Harden plays under Tom Thibodeau. We know we don't have this creative offense, so I feel like the offense would become very frustrating. But I don't trust Harden in big time moments to give it his all as the main ball handler if we did go on to trade for James Harden. 20 and 10 guy. He could shoot it from three. He could work downhill. He's slithery. Very good body control. But does he want it? I don't get that from James Harden. He had those 2 40-point games. Like, if we're going recently, second round of the playoffs, up against Boston, those fantastic performances that I'm like, holy shit, Harden's in attack mode. He's going to change that narrative. But the most important game of the season is Game 7. He shits his pants. 9 points, turns the ball over like crazy, doesn't care on defense. There's times screens being set, always attacking. He finds a crease, puts up a floater, attacks strong to the basket. But in that Game 7, screen being set, there's creation. Could pull up from mid-range, doesn't shoot it, can work downhill. He decides to pass it, turns the ball over. There's just times he looks careless. And I don't care how talented you are, I never want to question how much you want it when you're on my team. Obviously, I don't run the team, but like as a fan, you never want that. Brunson, when he's out there, I know he fucking wants that shit. I know he wants that. That's why we get frustrated with Randall. He has talent, but there's times I'm like, does this dude care? Is he interested? Like, he cares, but there's like, he's so up and down when it comes to his emotions and like his want out there on the floor. But it's not just this recent elimination game versus Boston. Like, we've just seen it. Like, Harden's getting older. It's obviously not the same athletic player. He relies on working downhill. He has to step back. But let's get into the game 7. So he's averaged 21 points per game in game 7 of his career. 21 points isn't terrible. Like, it's really solid, but if you want to be one of the best players in the league and one of the most important games, 21 points per game isn't really what you want, probably. 36% from the field, like, that's atrocious. 22% from 3 in game 7s in his career. 4.3 turnovers in elimination games in general. And 38.6 minutes per game, he's averaged 22.8 points, 4.5 turnovers, 42% from the field, 32% from 3, shooting 8 threes per game in these elimination games. And then if you take a look back in game 7s, 9 3-point attempts. Yeah, there's times he just falls in love with the three ball and doesn't attack. So Harden's a ridiculously talented player, but I'm kind of frustrated that we're interested in him. I know he's a star, but for right now, I don't understand it. Is there just pressure on the Knicks right now that it's like, oh my gosh, Jalen Brunson's so amazing, let's try to win with him right now. And it's like, oh, let's add Harden. But, like, I hope the Knicks are looking at his past history at elimination games. Like, fantastic regular season player, has shown games he kind of teases you in the playoffs, but he doesn't have that consistent one. That scares me. And Josh Hart, did they add flexibility? Like, what if Josh Hart ends up being a part of the trade? But the Clippers, real possibility. They have Paul George over there, obviously. But is he going to potentially team up with a Paul George and Kawhi? Sometimes I think, though, that our team name just gets thrown in these deals to give leverage to the other team or put pressure on the other team, maybe. Leon Rose slides some money. Like, well, just put her name there. I don't know. I'm just not happy if this goes on to happen. I'm not. People can call me crazy. I do not care. I don't think it would be a good fit. I wouldn't trade RJ for Harden. I know everyone has a different stance. And it's not even me saying RJ is going to be a future superstar, but I feel like RJ really, really gives a shit. I really get that from RJ. If Randall's a part of a deal, like, I don't even know what would be a part of it. Like, we sign quickly and trade. I don't know. I don't know. Let me know down below your thoughts on this. Would you trade for James Harden? I wouldn't. Peace out, y'all.